yo, still, man, listen to this, yo. I just dropped my daughter off that daycare and I'm heading to the plantation. Y'all know how the story goes, man. Complete fucking game, man. Oh my God, man, what a weekend, man. I couldn't talk about it this weekend. I couldn't find the time to, talk about it. Usually when I make my runs, I make my videos, and I couldn't make no runs, man. My wife went and picked up the groceries for me yesterday, so I couldn't get out here and talk to y'all, man. But we really got to dive into this Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano bout, man. Oh my fucking God! I couldn't believe what I was watching, honestly. That was like I still get goosebumps talking about it, man. It was that incredible of a fight. It was that incredible, man. Man. Oh my God, I was watching this, and let me first off by saying I was wrong about Amanda Serrano, man. I was wrong. She proved to be every bit of her equal as you can possibly be, because in my personal opinion, I had it a draw. I thought it'd be a draw. I didn't think it would be that, but that's how I scored the fight. I scored it a draw. I thought, whew, man. First, let's just do a play-by-play to, the first 3 rounds. Like I'm watching the fight and I'm like, what fight are they? I'm listening to, and I'm seeing that now it's a lot of discrepancies in the score, in the scoring of that fight. Not the scoring, but the commentating of that fight. Because while I was watching the fight, I'm like, I don't know what fight these motherfuckers is watching, man. But Katie Taylor is beating the shit out of this girl, man. Like the first 3 rounds, she came out counterpunching. She was, she was light on her feet. She punched on the go, and she consistently caught Amanda Serrano coming in with the left hook. She was countering beautifully, man. And I'm listening to Chris and I'm listening to Jessica, the beautiful. I'm listening to her. I'm like, what fight are y'all watching? Because there's no way you could definitively tell me that Amanda Serrano was winning these 3 rounds, bro. And they're talking about it and they're scoring the rounds. But I'm like, this is about to be easy work. Amanda's lunging. She's getting punished for coming in. You dig? Like, she just kind of, it took her, those are fill-out rounds. But because I thought that she was so outclassed, I'm hyped off of these rounds. It's like the whole fight is about to look like this. And then the 4th round comes along and she starts to really get in a rhythm, and she starts to land, find a home for that left hand down the pipe. And the jab was landing as well. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever with that round. And the 5th round comes along and it's almost disastrous for Katie Taylor, man, because she's out on her feet. I'm like, oh my God, like shit. Amanda's like this, like, bro, I'm super tweaked right now, bro. I'm like, yo, this is the end right here, because she's looking like she's about to get dropped for the first time in her career, and I'm like, this can't be life right now, because I'm favoring her to win, and I don't like being wrong. I don't like shit. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be the nigga to say I told you so. But I'm like, oh, fuck. But the warrior class that Amanda too, but Katie is from, she persevered. And she didn't run. It was like when Sergio Martinez got dropped by Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He didn't retreat. He didn't run. He stood there 10 toes down and banged it out. And that's what Katie did for 2 rounds. No legs up under her. She's wobbly. She does not have her bearings. She's like out of it. She's seeing stars, and she dug deep and found a way to fight out those rounds. Because that 5th and that 6th was like, oh my God. Like, I can't believe this shit, man. Fuck. So the 7th comes along, and it's not really action-packed like that, but I do think Amanda is still dictating the pace of the 7th round. She has Katie Taylor kind of, you know, kind of pushing her to her will, you know what I'm saying? Just willing her wherever it is that she wanted to go. She pushed her to pin her on the ropes. Katie was going to the rope, you know what I'm saying? Like, she kind of dictated the pace. It was real little action, because by this time, Amanda is clearly spent, because she went for that knockout. I know she went for that knockout. She's like, oh, I got her. She's out of here. And a lot of people were predicting the knockout. So she really burned through her energy reserves in that, what was that 5th or 6th round. So she, you know, she's spent by this time, and but Katie is just she's in survival mode right now, man. And, you know, she stuck a jab out there too, but it was nothing, to my knowledge. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the fight, but it was nothing meaningful. That wasn't a meaningful round for either one of them, but I did give that round to Amanda. So I'm like, she's still willing her, you know, she's somewhat imposing her will. I'm like, nah, man. Nah, fuck. So the 8th round comes along, and what does Katie Taylor do? She gets back on her bicycle. I think she has her legs back up under her. She's back on her bicycle, and she's countering again. She's working off her straight shots. She's using the jab, mainly the jab. She's punching on the go. She's using lateral movement. She's just doing whatever it is that she needs to do to now she's starting to get back to pounding these rounds up instead of being bullheaded and standing in the clinch and banging and giving the fans what it is that they want to see. Now she's using her legs again. She's fighting smart. So that's what it was for the 8th and the 9th round. I'm like, all right, cool. But I want to say in the 7th, let me see. I gave Katie the first 3. I gave Amanda the 4, 5, 6, 7 round. So that's 4. And I gave Katie the 8th and the 9th round. So by now I got Katie up 5 rounds to 4. So that 10th round comes around, and oh my God, man, if there was ever a beautiful display of boxing, it was in that round. That was Gaddy Ward-esque. That was the type of round that had Jim Lampley crying in the autobiography or whatever, whatever documentary you want to call it on Arturo Gatti after he passed tragically. That's him crying and getting emotional in that particular round. That's Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano's 10th round was really resembling of that. Like, that was an incredible round, man. They was brawling. They left it all in the ring. Oh, and that's, you know, Amanda ends up getting cut, I want to say, in the 7th or the 8th. She suffers a cut. And, oh, it was just like, yo, these girls really put their heart. Like, that fight didn't live up to expectation. It completely exceeded expectation. So the 10th round, they brawling. It's just, you know, there's balls to the wall. They just throwing heavy leather, and I think I scored it for Amanda. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. Yeah, but yeah, I think I scored it for Amanda. So I had that round a draw. They both landed really heavy shots. They stayed in the middle of the ring and just let their hands go. That was really a beautiful thing for women's boxing, man. That was incredible. And if there's any integrity with these dudes, y'all will do whatever it is y'all can do to live up to that fight. That should be the standard going from here on out. That was an incredible fight, man. That was, oh my God. That was like, yo, I was in my living room going crazy, bro. Like, oh, let's go. Like, that was really an incredible display of boxing, man. Shout out to shout out to both of them. Shout out to both of them, man. You know, Amanda really surprised me, and so yeah, she belongs in the conversation as one of the greats. Not that she already wasn't. I mean, she's a 7th division world champion, but it was also a lot of asterisks on a lot of those victories, to my knowledge. Her standing in there with Katie Taylor and proving that she's her equal, there's no question where that girl stands at historically. She's an incredible fighter. But my next point that I want to speak on is shout out to Eddie Hearn. Because we can say, like, at this point in time, what Eddie Hearn is doing for the sport of boxing, man, he's only been in the American market for about, what, 3 or 4 years, 19, 21, 23 years. I think his first fight, yeah, AJ and Andy Ruiz was in 2019. Since he's been in the American market, man, this dude has been, like, he hasn't, let me see, I mean, Canelo with Billy Joe Saunders that did 70, that broke the indoor attendance record in America. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, that sold out Madison Square. I mean, what more do you want from this dude? You know what I'm saying? What more can you ask for? And then you get Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. He said, now, Katie Taylor is an Irish woman. And Amanda Serrano, all right, you know, she had a little bit of a buzz in the tri-state area. Nothing to the point where it was like astronomical or nothing like that. You never would have expected her to be able to pack out the Madison Square Garden. The actual arena, not the theater, not the Hulu theater. The actual arena. Eddie Hearn, at this point in time, is the baddest promoter in the business. I don't even see how it can be argued. There's people trying to give credences to Jake Paul. Oh, well, I think he did $1 million buys with Ben Askren or whatever. And then he had like $500K with Tyron Woodley. And then he had $65K with Tyron Woodley too. On average, this dude, as far as his, you know, his buying power, his market, and his marquee value, he's losing about 400,000 views. It's 400,000 fans viewership is per fight. How the fuck is he responsible for what happened? And like y'all are not making sense. Y'all are not making sense. No fighter, even when you look at Earl Spence is around the 200,000. He's averaging around the 200,000 mark. He plummeted from Mikey Garcia until now, but he's still averaging around 200,000 buys when he fights. Jake Paul went from $1 million to 500,000 to not even cracking 100K in 3 fights. And y'all want me to give credit, sole credit and responsibility to his responsibility to the success of this fight? Fuck no. Hell the fuck no. No. He did a good job in bringing some Amanda Serrano, you know, getting her, you know, building her profile slightly, yeah, but without Eddie Hearn, do they sell out Madison Square Garden? I don't think so. I don't think so. A nigga's going to consistently bring up his social media followings, man. Like, social media followings does not equate to viewership on pay-per-views. It doesn't. They want to bring up all pay-per-view buys. If every social media follower Jake Paul had bought his pay-per-views, he'd be doing, he'd have the biggest fights on pay-per-view in history. He'd beat out Floyd and Manning. Because he'd have 19 million pay-per-views bought for his fight. But he doesn't. What the fuck are you niggas talking about? He gets a slight bit of credit because he was responsible for building Amanda's profile. Yeah, I'd give him that. But without Eddie Hearn, that fight isn't what it is. They're not selling out Madison. Y'all not understand how women's boxing doesn't garner that much attention. There's professional fighters and coaches who will tell you, I don't really watch women's boxing. I just don't. I just don't. They don't see it as valuable, and it's not as praised as men's boxing. It honestly is. It's like the WNBA and you know, women's baseball. It's just not as high profile as men's boxing. It's not. It's not pushed in our faces. We don't have pay-per-views for women's boxing no more. We don't. We don't have it. So for you to sit here, for you to get a foreigner, and put her on this soil and pack out Madison Square Garden to the point where the commentators and the interviewers could barely hear themselves speak. That's attributed to Eddie Hearn. Why? Because he's done it before. That wasn't his first time selling out Madison Square Garden. It's just that much more potent because he was able to do it with women. One being a foreign national. Technically, both of them are foreigners. Amanda was born in Puerto Rico. Katie is born and raised in Ireland. So for him to do that for those two women, that's monumental. This man just made history. No, Jake Paul is not getting sole credit of that. Not even half. He did his part in building Amanda Serrano. Kudos. But without Eddie Hearn, that fight is in the Hulu Theater in Madison Square. Eddie Hearn is the one selling these fights. Eddie Hearn is the market genius. Not no goddamn Jake Paul. And I think Jake Paul is a valuable promoter. Like, I'd be lying if I said he wasn't. But he still has room to grow in this business. And I also like how Eddie Hearn told me, you're not about to be no champion, dude. It's not happening. You're not about to be a champion, dog. Like, stop saying that shit. You're not beating nobody, no non-champions, and it's not happening. Like Jake Paul, like the trolling and everything, just the whole, this shock jock and clout chasing bullshit. I think Jake Paul, like the average individual in the street is not gonna be able to deal with Jake Paul, man. But when you get the championship, when you step into, not even championships, when you step into the professional rankings, it's a completely different ball game. Why? Because it's a different ball game when you're dealing with high level amateurs. When you're dealing with amateurs with a deep back amateur pedigree, it's a different ball game. It's a different level of skill. Y'all are big up. You know, people are talking about Tommy Fury as if Tommy Fury is the dude. Like, no, nobody takes Tommy Fury serious, dog. Like, no, but Tommy Fury, I don't even know what division. Is he a cruiserweight? Is he a light heavyweight? I don't know. I've never seen him fight. Nobody gives a fuck about Tommy Fury. And there's people really going on, oh, well, he was about to fight Tommy Fury. Who gives a fuck? Who the fuck is Tommy Fury? I don't think so. He's a pretty boy. He can fight. But is he at a world class? No. Fuck no. So you ain't getting brownie points for beating a Tommy Fury. And if you lose to a Tommy Fury, that you the same dude talking about you fight Canelo, and like, come on, man. Jake Paul's not beating anybody of note. He's not beating no prospects. I don't know how this dude is getting all this high admiration for beating Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren. It's not happening. It's not happening. But he is a dope promoter, and he can, he has value as a promoter. I think he should, stay in that lane. But he still has growing to do, and I can't give him all without Jake Paul. No, without Jake Paul, yes, Eddie Hearn is still sold out Madison Square Garden. Y'all can miss me with that dumb shit. Fuck out of here, man. So shout out to Amanda, shout out to Katie. That was an incredible fight. I hope y'all run that shit back because I want to see a rematch, because that was dope. That's what the sport is all about. I'm looking forward to the next one, man. This week we got Canelo and Bivol. We really gonna see what that shit is hitting for. April was good to us boxing fans. No, April was great to us. I hope, the rest of the year is like that, man. We got Jamel and Castano next week. And unfortunately, Andre is out. His fight got to get postponed. But nonetheless, I hope we keep this energy going, man. I'm going to work. I'm about to go and start this week off. So I'll get back with y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I'm outie, bro. Oh, shit. Yeah. I'm out, man. I'm going to work. Deuces.